Someone leaned on a light switch. Could you unlean on the light switch?
That is worse!
No, that is later. Turn the light on.
Justice is blind.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Is this an after dark panel now? I think this means this is an after dark panel now.
Oyez, oyez, oyez. All persons having business before the Honorable Court of Common Pleas of Allegheny County are admonished to draw near and give their attention, for the Honorable Alkali Bismuth is now sitting. God save this court and Commonwealth.
You may be seated. I have found out that robes are not one size fit all. I need a moment for the court to figure this out.
Your Honor looks fetching.
The top will help.
It's like an overstuffed pillow.
I feel like I'm in breath. Okay, wait. Oh God, it's into it. Okay.
Don't stop. Rip it off.
Yes, there you go. Yes, I can breathe. Things that I'm supposed to say to start the trial. I'll call the case. My phone is in my pocket and this robe is very tight. Could you call the case for me?
All right. In the Court of Common Pleas of Allegheny County, docket number 018302 CR 2022.
That one. Yeah, yes, of course.
Charge of criminal homicide, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus Cousin Page, defendant.
Thank you, bailiff. You are as wonderful as you are hot.
Your Honor never talks to me like that anymore.
You're so far in front of me.
I get that a lot.
Don't worry. Your Honor thinks you're a very good boy.
People of the jury, I would first like to say that this is exactly like a dream I've had every night for the last 3 years, except all of you are clothed. But enough about me. We are here to talk about Cousin Page. More importantly, we are here to talk about Ophelia Opossum. Ophelia Opossum is a young girl who was ruthlessly murdered by a Cousin Page, and we are going to prove that here today beyond a preponderance of the evidence. So, what we're here to prove today is third-degree murder. We're not talking about first-degree murder. We're just talking about third-degree murder. That's what we're here to prove today. Knowing, reckless, or negligent causing of death, not while engaged as a principal or accomplice in a felony act, and we're proving it beyond a reasonable doubt. So that is a preponderance of the evidence, or 50% plus one neuron.
Objection, Your Honor. I know it's uncommon to object during opening on this, but I believe counsel just misstated the standard for reasonable doubt.
Overruled. I was listening. I didn't hear it.
Your Honor, if I may.
If you may.
Counsel stated it is a preponderance of the evidence standard, Your Honor.
The opposite of overruled. I need my hammer. Thanks.
At this point, we would move to strike counsel's opening to this point and ask for an instruction that the jury disregard.
Counsel, I believe a slip of the tongue is fine. Could you please restate?
If I had a nickel for every time I've slipped my tongue, I wouldn't need this stinking job. We're here to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the victim has died. See her in the courtroom today? We're here to prove that the murderer was Cousin Page. I mean, I believe it. My job here is to convince you. That's what we're here to do today, and that's what we're going to do today. And I look at all the faces of the jury here, and I believe that all of you believe me already. Anything to object to now?
Counsel?
Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
That's okay, I was done anyway.
And who are you again?
I'm Buddy Goodboy.
A very good
And who do
boy.
you represent?
I represent the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, bitch.
You don't think I don't think those have been important to mention at the outset before you just started talking, huh? Opposing counsel, Your Honor, members of our jury, how are you today? That's how you fucking get them. You may or may not know me. My name is Boozy Badger, and I appear before you today in representation of Cousin Page. And I want to be very clear at the outset. There is not one guilty person in this courtroom today.
Objection, Your Honor. That is objectively not true.
Your Honor, my client, like all defendants in this great country and in this great commonwealth and in this great court, is entitled to the presumption of innocence until the state proves their case. Now, what do I mean by that? Members of the jury, it means something very simple. I don't have to do anything. You laugh, but I don't have to do anything. My client is protected by the cloak of law and by the presumption of innocence. I don't have to prove a single thing to you today. That is not my burden. That is not my responsibility. That is the Commonwealth's responsibility. That is the burden they must meet, and despite what the Commonwealth may have led you to believe so far, that is not a small burden. They must prove this beyond a reasonable doubt to you. The highest standard we apply at law. Now, later I will talk to you, and I am certain the Commonwealth will talk to you, about the standard of beyond a reasonable doubt, and what evidence must be presented for you to make the determination of guilt. This is why we have cups in real courts. So, hold on. Thank you, Bailiff. You made me look like an idiot.
Did you really need her help?
That's not what I'm here today, right now, to do. I'm not here today, right now, to tell you about everything the state must prove to you. Instead, I'm going to tell you what you will hear and what you will not hear. You know what you will not hear? You will not hear that there is a body in this alleged murder. Because there isn't one. You will not hear that they have definitively nailed any forensic evidence to my client. You will not hear a shred of evidence that even places Cousin Page at the scene of the alleged murder. What you will hear is a story of a Canadian coming into the United States, wanting to work in an investment firm, needing a work visa and being denied it, with access to a client's account they should not have had at an investment firm, who the day after $5 million goes missing, disappears. You will hear the presumption that an overzealous detective, driven by a desire for promotion, decided to pin it on Cousin Page, the fine scion of a fine family in this great state, to advance his own career. That's all you're going to hear. You're not going to hear a shred of evidence to the contrary. Don't be mystified by the smoke and mirrors, and don't be afraid, because I'm here to dispel them for you today. because I am confident that at the end of this matter, you will find the correct conclusion, that my client, Cousin Page, as he is right at this moment, remains entirely innocent. Thank you. Your move.
Counsel, also play nice.
The clerk of the law will not hide Uncle Page's nasty, dangly bits from long.
We will refrain from ever mentioning Uncle Kage's nasty bits again.
Cousin Page,
I don't care.
I will ask the court to not get us banned.
The court can throw a hammer. Bear that in mind.
Your Honor, if I may, there were a few things before we went in that we believe we should jointly address with the court. First, Your Honor, do you want to handle this, or should I, Mr. Goodboy? Or
I don't get paid enough to do this. Go ahead.
say what?
I don't get paid enough to do this. Go ahead.
Okay. Are we free to move back to the courtroom?
You are free to move about the courtroom, agreed?
Would you like us to ask to approach the witness the first time every time?
Only the first time?
Okay. Is it okay to remain seated during objections?
It is fine to remain seated during objections.
Okay. Your Honor, we spoke prior to the trial with the Commonwealth. We have reached several stipulations. Would you like me to read them into the record?
Yes, please.
All exhibits that will be introduced today, we have agreed and stipulated as to the authenticity of, while reserving objections as to any legal or factual consideration or any other evidentiary rules regarding the same. We have stipulated to the constitutionality of all witnesses' statements and physical evidence. My client, Cousin Page, has indeed waived their Fifth Amendment right and will be testifying today. We have further stipulated the samples of blood found beneath the carpet in Cousin Page's office and that found upon a letter opener were tested by a crime lab, may be permitted to be admitted without further foundation that the blood on the carpet and the letter opener came from the same individual, and that blood is a 99.978 genetic match to a fetal opossum, the alleged victim, and also could have come from any one of approximately 1,276 individuals in the Pittsburgh metropolitan area. Defense has stipulated that the fingerprints recovered by Detective Zine Catney from the letter opener and tested by the lab compared to a database in a national crime information computer system, and that the results of that testing may be admitted in whole or in part without further foundation. We have further stipulated as to the following. The Bullpine and Oregano concert was scheduled for and commenced on Monday, October 27, 2021 at 8:29 p.m. at the David L. Lawrence Convention Center. Rained throughout the entire evening. The concert was suspended at 10:13 on that date due to Oregano's alcohol poisoning. The concert was thereafter scheduled to resume on October 28th, but was canceled due to Bullpine's haggis poisoning. The concert did finally resume on October 29th and was completed that night. The final stipulation is as to, I believe, surveillance footage.
Correct.
The defense has stipulated that the surveillance video from the front of the Dr. Roach Investments building and inside the elevators showed that Ophelia Opossum entered front doors of the building on October 27th at 8:20 p.m., went to the elevator and exited the elevator on the third floor. Cousin Page entered the doors on October 27th, 2020 at 7:09 a.m., went to the elevator and exited on the third floor. On October 28th at 5:09 a.m., Cousin Page entered the building and went to the elevators, exiting on the third floor. And that J. Falco Lover entered the front doors of the building on October 27th at 8:45 p.m., went to the elevator, exited the elevator on the sixth floor, then entered the elevator on the sixth floor at 9:45 p.m., exited again on the first floor and immediately exited.
Enter all stipulations as read and never invite me to one of your concerts.
Did I leave anything out?
No, that was everything.
All right, that's all I have.
Counsel?
Commonwealth calls Foxy McGifferton to the stand.
Foxy McGifferton. Change your name, huh?
It's a family name.
Understood.
Now, could you
Place your
please-
hand here. Do you swear to tell the truth? Have donut.
Good boy.
I can't talk and eat a donut. It's a terrible idea. Oh, my statement.
Counsel, you may proceed.
Please state your name and pronouns for the record.
Foxy Ifferton. She, they. Is it she, they? Yeah, she, they.
Objection, Your Honor. Permission to treat the witness as hostile.
Oh, no. All right, let's do this.
I have a feeling that would escalate things. Let's leave it as is.
How do you know Ophelia Possum?
She was my best friend for the last 5 years.
How did you two meet?
Well, we met in college. We got along really well. We were both foreigners. She was from Quebec, I was from Australia. And, I mean, we weren't super different, but still, we made fun of our accents, all sorts of things, and we just connected in college. My minor was her major, so it kind of like, we shared a couple of things together.
Gross.
I'm sorry you hate love.
How did Ophelia do in school?
She was one of the hardest workers I knew.
I'm sorry, hardest workers?
She was diligent, very diligent.
It's because of your accent. I wanted to make sure that we got that clearly, not hottest workers.
Well, I mean, 5 years.
Will the stenographer please read back the softcore porn that is encompassing here? They said hardest, we're fine.
Okay. Did Ophelia face any particular difficulties in school?
Absolutely. Like I said, we're foreigners. There's constantly there's mockery of everything. And I can fake an American accent if I want to, but it doesn't, for her it was a really big trigger. She dealt with it all the time. Not to mention just the fact that at any given moment, if you weren't on your A game, you were thrown out of the country.
Now, can we talk more about that? If you're not on your A game, you're thrown out of the country. What do you mean by that?
America's a place that only wants to use you, and if you're not a good enough cog, they'll get rid of you.
On behalf of the Commonwealth, ouch, but... Now, did Ophelia have any particular achievements in school?
Absolutely.
Objection, Your Honor, the counsel's going to continue leading the witness. We'd ask you to use a leash.
I'm into it.
Counsel, bring it to a point.
Okay, what was Ophelia's motivation to succeed?
Objection, Your Honor, speculation.
Sustained.
Does that mean I answer the question?
That means you do not answer the
Okay. Do I answer the question now?
Well, I mean, you can't. It's an emergency now. There's a tornado coming.
Whose turn is it?
It's the good boy counsel.
How did you two come to meet
Just in general?
Sammy Sparkledog?
Oh, well, Sammy
Objection, Your Honor, leading lack of foundation.
Overruled. Overruled.
Your Honor,
Continue,
we'll also say lack of foundation. They haven't established that they ever met Sammy Sparkledog.
Have you met Sammy Sparkledog?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor, that is obviously leading. We'd ask that be.
Too bad I already answered it.
Period.
Overruled. They may ask the question.
You heard me.
Yes, she met Sammy Sparkle Dog. Or I met Sammy Sparkle. We met Sammy Sparkle Dog. All of us, everyone. I think all of us have met Sammy Sparkle Dog in our life. Sammy Sparkle Dog was the same major as Ophelia, and I don't know, she was really impressed with her. She was really impressed with her at all times. She was specifically that Sammy Sparkle Dog was able to hide her accent so well. She was a similar situation, as I said. She just really hated that anyone knew that she was from Quebec and that English was the second language.
Now, where did the three of you end up after graduation?
Well, I mean, we all take our own little things. I know I wind up as whatever the hell this is.
That's a piece of paper.
Yes, I want a piece of paper. Hang on, man. It's not even sexy. I was accepted into the Temple University's Masters in Public Health Programming, whatever the hell that is, but I'm sure I'm happy with it.
The Commonwealth is happy, you're happy.
Yeah, exactly. But no, Ophelia, as an undergrad, wrote an amazing article about maple syrup investments. And it got published in, was it Legally Distinct Forbes? Dogs? Is that for dogs? Is it dog Forbes? Is that... Objection?
You can't object! That's their job!
I want Goofy to explain the joke.
Your Honor, I'm not sure I can actually instruct the witness how to answer. I'm willing to give it a shot, considering it's the Commonwealth's witness.
No, we're going to let the Commonwealth continue.
All right,
Mr. Goodboy.
Can we stipulate that Dorbs is dog forms?
Yes, dog Forbes.
No, Your Honor.
Anyways,
Will not so stipulate.
Fair enough.
Anyways, whatever Dorbs is, it is a major financial publication, and she got published in it. And no one ever does that. It's certainly not an undergrad.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah,
Speculation.
she was a badass with a nice ass.
Witness will refrain from sexual innuendos towards a corpse.
All right, I want to fuck her. Wait, you have a corpse.
Fair enough, that wasn't an innuendo.
That's right, I went right forward.
Where did Ophelia go?
She got a job. I knew a lot more when I was talking in this paper. She got a job at Dr. Roach Investments.
Now, what does Dr. Roach Investments do?
Objection, Your Honor. They haven't laid the foundation for this witness having that knowledge.
Yeah, I don't get how I have that knowledge either.
Well, I mean, now that you said that, I don't think I have a choice.
Counter objection. She doesn't need to establish foundation for that. So that's common knowledge.
Yeah, we were
Okay, well, Your Honor, at that point, I'm going to object again. The witness did just state under oath that they don't have that knowledge.
No, I said I didn't know how I had that knowledge. I still have it.
Counsel, establish the knowledge presently, please. Please establish it.
Do you know what Dr. Roach Investments is?
Yeah, I'm not an idiot.
What is
It is a major financial, it is a prestigious investment firm. Not to mention I lived with this girl for 5 years. She talked about it, it was a job.
Dr. Steve?
No.
She's better than me.
I'll
Now,
tell her
what was
to
Ophelia
sleep.
working on?
I mean, a variety of things. Just because, well, she was working on a particular project called NFTs or something. Remember, she's a cog, guys.
I'm not sure people in the back heard you. One more time?
NFTs?
The courtroom will refrain from booing the witness? You can boo me all you want, I got a hammer. Cool with that.
Do you know what an NFT is?
Yes. So well. Totally. It's a... Fuck. Oh, there it is. It's a nifty furry. It's a type of cryptocurrency-backed image that's like porn.
Like porn or is it porn?
Yeah, it's porn. Sorry, yeah. I'm supposed to be specific. Yeah, it's porn. Like hardcore. Yeah.
Wow, that sounds like a hard currency.
Yeah. Backed by the blockchain. We're going to tug on the blockchain.
Now, who else was working on this project? Do you know?
Sammy? Yes. And Falco Lover. Am I wrong? Right? Well, am I? Prove me wrong. All right then. How about you? You want to...
Witness, you will stop forcing objections!
I'm perfectly fine with the nature of this testimony right now. Please continue.
Can you prove me wrong?
The witness will stop referring to the other counsel. Talk to the guy who's talking to you.
You call me hostile. I don't like it. Well, you call me hostile. But yeah, it was Sammy and Falco Lover.
Okay. Now, do you believe that Sammy is... Let me rephrase this. I'm going to draw an objection immediately.
I knew that one was wrong from a YouTube video.
We'll be both. Does Sammy Sparkledog have the background to work with NFTs?
Objection, Your Honor. That is obviously leading and calls for speculation. He has not laid any basis for the witness's knowledge of Miss Sparkledog's qualifications or lack of the same. Like I said, that is a leading question.
Withdrawn. Do you have any opinions about Sammy Sparkledog?
She's a
Objection, Your Honor. Calls once again for I don't see how the witness's opinion of a coworker of their, I'm assuming, roommate with benefits is relevant.
Sustained.
We will show you how it's relevant.
Okay.
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 But this better be going somewhere, counsel.
Is that how you say? I don't actually know to say that. Yes. Thank you.
You were saying?
She's a cunt.
Well, it went somewhere.
Just in general, objection to move to strike.
Yeah, all right, stenographer, strike that and write C asterisk asterisk asterisk. Nailed it. Continue.
She didn't do any of the work. It was all Ophelia. She just sat there and got praise like some white guy. I know what Serena thought.
And we're going to lie. I'm not that easily offended by being called a white guy.
I'm just saying, she didn't do anything, right? She didn't do a damn thing. It was all Ophelia. She talked about it all the time, like anyone would, after work and stuff, and in bed. And we were cuddling. And fucking, because I can't do innuendos.
Your Honor, if I may.
I don't know. Please
we are
make
going
this.
to object to literally everything the witness just said is hearsay and move to strike. The witness just stated they gained that knowledge from Ophelia Possum. It's
blatant hearsay. And we would ask the jury be instructed to disregard the statement.
Do you have any first-hand knowledge of any work that was done by Ophiel and Sammy?
Absolutely.
Could you tell me what that is?
Well, I had, my minor was a lot like her, so I did have some knowledge of what she was doing. So she would have me check all of her work all the time because she was run ragged. And so, yeah, I took a look at a lot of her work, and it was all hers. None of it was Sammy's.
So you do have first-hand knowledge of this?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, in your opinion, based on the work, is Ophiel qualified to work with NFTs?
Your Honor, we're going to object again at this point. If counsel is going to seek opinion evidence based on knowledge gained from financial matters, we would ask that a voir dire of the witness for an expert be taken place.
I'm sorry, you want to voir dire the witness?
Yes.
I don't think my mouth can open that big.
Is voir dire a real term?
It was withdrawn by counsel.
Withdrawn. Now, did Sammy claim to have any contributions to this work?
Yeah.
Objection, Your Honor, calls for hearsay.
Overruled. No.
She did. She claimed to be doing just as much work as Ophelia, and that was not true at all.
Now, did she contribute anything in particular?
Maybe.
Your face is glorious.
My dyslexia is acting up. Yes.
Thank you.
She worked specifically on Fur Affinity and Netflix. Or at least those were her songs. That's what she claims. That was your question, right? I forgot.
Did Sammy Sparkle develop anything for this job?
She claimed it was Netflix Fur Affinity, which I believe she did set some of the ground with her. That was like one of the few things she did do. Was it right there? Right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah! The formula for the NFT snake.
What's the NFT snake?
That is...
You knew that was
Your Honor, I'm going to, there's no foundation here. The witness did not work at Dr. Roach Investments.
Put on the paperwork.
Overruled. It has been established that I have read the paperwork.
Your Honor, at that point, if they're reading the paperwork and repeating statements made in the paperwork out of court that are now being offered to prove the matter asserted, I renew my hearsay objection.
I watched a YouTube video. This is hard.
YouTube?
It's old times.
Shit. No. Yes, sustained. Yeah, okay. All right, I see. Ah, fuck me. This is hard.
You're telling me.
Right? Shit, gang up.
You're telling me? I don't have any court powers.
I got a hammer.
Oh, no, I have
You should really get a hammer.
it. I should get a hammer.
Well, shit.
Oh, do you want me to talk about? Wait, I can't do that. I'm studying a lot of improv, so
Why don't you tell me what you do know about Ophiel's work?
There you go.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. Counsel's asking the witness to testify in the narrative.
Just one more time.
Counsel's asking the witness to testify in the narrative.
No, this is direct.
You still can't ask him to testify in the narrative. You can't say, "Tell me what you know," and sit back. You have to actually examine them.
We can't do that?
No.
Holy cool!
It's called testifying in the narrative.
Orange juice and cookies and say tell me the story.
Neat! I learned something today.
Sustained counsel, you may ask your questions.
The Commonwealth requests a quick recess in a paper bag.
I've got a supply in back. They're filled with poppers. Enjoy.
Oh, you're doing recess? Hell yeah. I want to go on the slide.
Now we're going to have a quick 5-minute nitrous break.
Okay, tell us about Falco Lover.
Objection, Your Honor. We would ask for an offer of proof from the prosecution.
No.
Overruled. The witness may testify about a person they have established speaking of before. Overruled.
Wait. Next page. Falco Lover, so the Falco Lover account appeared to me an affiliate that have been involved in some Ponzi scheme. It looks super sketchy.
Do you know what a Ponzi scheme is?
Yeah.
Objection, Your Honor. Once
Let the
again,
info down.
Your Honor, if the witness is about to testify as to the definition of a Ponzi scheme, we are definitely going to ask for a voir dire and that the witness be established as an expert.
Did you hear my question? The answer was not what is a Ponzi scheme.
Are you about to ask what a Ponzi scheme is?
Yes, do I know what
Not
it is?
now. I asked if she knew what it was.
Yeah,
The answer is yes.
I do.
You have nothing to object to.
Yeah.
Overruled, sustained, you said yes. What is this? There will be no high-fiving! That's better.
All right.
Separate yourself from bonds.
I think it is. Neat. Nifty even. Oh no, my religious donut.
Counsel, continue!
Yeah, hang on, where's my info dump? Oh yeah. The term Ponzi.
Your Honor, we are now renewing our objection.
What?
I'm not going to ask you what a Ponzi scheme is.
Aw.
I'm going to ask you, given your own first-hand knowledge of the Falco Lover account and the Nifty Snake, please tell me what the two have in common.
Well,
What relates the two?
the Nifty Snake would generate. So the Falco account, there's almost $100,000 transferred into the Falco account, and the Nifty Snake fund, which, I mean, basically would make money appear out of nowhere because money's fake. And only one would just generate almost $30,000 in dividends. Through a complex algorithm. It's almost 30%. And in 1 month's time, she almost saw a 360% return on the investment.
That seems like a lot.
Yeah, like a hell of a lot.
So, did this seem unusual to you?
Yes, it seemed a bit like a thing scheme that I can't say.
Objection, move to strike, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Come on then.
Just say yes.
Okay. All right.
Did you just say no?
I said all right.
Okay.
No, if I said now, it'd be now.
Fair enough.
So obviously, this is raising some suspicions in your mind, but why didn't you or Ophel say anything about that?
Your Honor, if counsel's going to testify as how the witness's state of mind is, I'd ask counsel be sworn and proven as an expert.
You may ask their thoughts, not the other's thoughts. You may ask
But-
the witness's thoughts, not for the...
I literally have a master's degree in psychology.
Objection, Your Honor. That's inconsistent with prior testimony.
Wait, no, it's not. I'm a master of psychological temple, or whatever.
Your Honor, if the crier would like to read it back, the witness stated, I literally have a master's degree in psychology. The witness's prior testimony was that they are in a master's in a public health program.
Oh.
Sustained.
All right. I still went to school for psychology. Here's my master. No, my major. That's the word.
Your Honor, at this point, we'd ask that the witness be given an instruction as to perjury.
So, uh-oh.
What does that mean? Am I going to die? I'm going to die. I'll be with you soon, my love.
Counsel, the witness was obviously confused and drunk from the nitrous break. Other counsel, you will make your point.
Yes, my point. My point which is forthcoming.
Depends how many times I got affiliates in. Oh, I can't do innuendos. I made her come 4 times.
Stenographer will save this for my spank bank later. Continue!
The point to which I come.
That's a good way to put it.
What was the economy doing during all of this?
It was tanking real hard, so there's no reason the type of money should have gone. Should have seen the cover trend.
Okay, so tell me about what happened the last day that you ever spent with Ophelia.
That's on the last page.
Anything unusual happen at work?
Objection, Your Honor, that is definitely leading.
Sustained.
I return to my first question.
Well, Ophelia was visibly upset. They were going to pin everything on her.
Define everything without using that word. That you're not supposed to say.
You're right. Ophelia, there was some trouble at work, and up to that point, Dr. Roach had been holding the green card over Ophelia's head, or work visa over Ophelia's head the whole time, and she was doing her best to get a hold of it. But when things went south, because something happened, they were going to blame her for it, and she couldn't even, it wasn't even about getting the green card anymore, she just didn't know what else to do. She was distraught, upset. But, understandably.
Okay, tell us about, well, you were the, excuse me. I'm going to get one question out without an objection, I just know it.
It'll be my fault.
Tell us about the last time you saw Ophelia.
The last time I saw Ophelia,
Yes.
I drove her to her I drove her to go speak. Yes. I drove Ophelia over to Dr. Roach's firm so that she could go check something on a computer and talk to Dr. Roach about it directly, because while we were watching TV, we noticed that Falco Lover had committed suicide over money.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Falco Lover committed suicide.
Gasp?
Yeah.
Over money? Can you believe people would do crazy things over money?
Well, yes, America.
Noted. You're here on a visa, aren't you? No reason.
Yes, I am.
Just keep cooperative, and we'll make sure that stays that way.
See what I mean?
I'm waiting.
Did you see Ophelia again after that?
No, I dropped her off, and I waited for a little bit, but I just assumed she needed to cool off, so I went home and tried calling her. I called, when she didn't come back that night, I did call the police, but they said it has to be a full 24 hours. It has to be a full 24 hours before someone goes missing.
Okay. Did you call the police after that?
Yes, but then they said the 24 hours were up. But then, obviously, finding out then I called them back. And then I called them back after seeing everything on the news, and they did send the detective over, and I told them everything I had.
Okay, did the detective take anything with him?
They took Ophelia's computer.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
Counsel?
Blink twice if you need help.
A lot of help.
The way she must have something stuck in her eye.
You didn't work at Dr. Roach Investments, did you?
No. I was Master Temple.
So everything that you just testified to as to what was going on at Dr. Roach Investments, you got that from Ophel?
Yes.
And everything regarding Miss Sparkle Dog, you got that from Ophel?
Well, and having met her myself.
Okay. How Miss Sparkle Dog worked at work, did you get that from Ophel?
Yes.
Was Ophel in competition with Miss Sparkle Dog?
I wouldn't say that now.
You wouldn't say that? Were they both going for the same job?
I guess.
Said you got knowledge from Ophel regarding the NFT snake, right?
Yeah.
Because you reviewed the paperwork, right?
Yes.
It's also true that you got that knowledge because you and Ophel placed spyware on a Dr. Roach Investments computer specifically to monitor accounts in the NFT snake, correct?
Yes.
Is it correct that Cousin Page disciplined Ophel for placing spyware on a company computer that managed economic and investment advice for clients?
When you're baking, do you not check on your food?
It's true that Ophel had actually been removed from the Falco Lover account, correct?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What was that?
Ophel had actually been removed from the Falco Lover account, correct?
Yeah, but only because she was trying to do a good job.
But she was removed from the account, correct?
Yes.
And she continued to monitor that account through spyware, correct?
Yes.
And after she was disciplined for that, you referred to something happened, right? In your testimony a moment ago?
Yes.
That something happened was in no small part the disappearance of $5 million from Dr. Falco Lover's account, right?
Yeah.
The same account that your roommate was monitoring through spyware she had without permission installed on a Dr. Roach Investments computer, correct?
Yes.
And isn't it true that the same day that $5 million went missing is the exact same day that you last saw Ophel Opossum, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You say Ophel was from Quebec?
Yes.
Okay. Was Ophel a Canadian national?
Yeah.
Had a passport?
She was here on a student visa.
But she had a Canadian passport.
I believe.
Okay. She also had a second passport, right?
No.
Are you sure?
I don't think so. Did I say Yes, you did.
Did you give a sworn statement to the police on April 27, 2022, notarized by Ryan Blazer, a Commonwealth notary?
I did.
Okay.
What line?
And do you recall in that sworn statement, you told this notary about how she had taken what looked to be a green passport out of her fireproof box, but it couldn't have been, since Ophil's Canadian passport was red and the green one didn't have the maple leaf thing on it.
Yes. I did say that, but that's what I'm saying.
Okay, so Ophil had more than one passport.
No, I said it looked like a passport thing. It could also be a notebook.
What looked like a green passport out of a fireproof box? Do you keep notebooks in fireproof boxes?
I mean, if the love letters.
Where's that box now?
In the fire. 917.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
Anytime, love you.
Love you too. Yes. The police took the box, and I don't think they found it. I don't think they found anything.
Well, I didn't know they didn't find anything.
I said I don't think.
Did the police call you and say we didn't find anything?
No.
Okay, so you don't know whether they found anything or not.
No, I said I don't
You're
think.
just guessing.
Oh, it's good.
You're just guessing. Okay.
Objection. Badgering the witness.
I mean, it's sustained because they're a badger, but that's not going to work every time. Counsel, make your point.
Ms. Gifferton, in your testimony today, you have neglected to mention that you and your roommate installed spyware without permission on a Dr. Roach Investments computer, correct?
I have failed to mention that.
You failed to mention that the day that your roommate went missing is the same day that the account your roommate was illegally monitoring lost $5 million, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You neglected to mention that your roommate had what looked to be a passport in a fireproof box that was taken by the Pittsburgh police, correct?
No, I didn't. Did I?
You have guessed about what the Pittsburgh police have done in their investigation, haven't you?
I suppose.
Miss McGifferton, you are aware a man is on trial for murder,
Yeah.
and you believe it's appropriate to neglect to mention these facts and to guess.
Well, you never let me talk with all of your objections.
Your Honor, I have nothing further.
Nothing further.
Dismiss the witness.
All right.
Let's give Chris a round of applause.
Good job.
Counsel?
Who am I again? Commonwealth.
Commonwealth.
Commonwealth calls Zine Cappy to the stand.
Hand on the donut. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, and death by chocolate.
Bailiff, does witness have the microphone? I can't see it.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, you do? Okay. Commonwealth?
Are you done with your donut? Oh, is it good? I'm practicing being a waitress in case this whole lawyer thing doesn't work out. So could you state your name and occupation for the record, please?
I am the detective Zina Cantoni. You know, Cantoni's cool cat.
Where are you from, Z?
Now, I'm from little Pittsburgh here.
I'm sure.
Born and raised. 43 years old.
What's your current occupation?
I'm a detective for the Pittsburgh Police Force.
And how did you get involved in the O'Feel case?
Well, I got involved. I've always been interested in the forensics, you know, and you know, I'm a police officer that I just take the tasks and the cases that I'm assigned, and I was really excited to be part of this case.
Okay. What did forensics find when they were in Cousin Page's office?
Oh, Page's office?
That's Page, not Page.
Oh, where I'm from, we call it Page. All right, so this is the
forensics.
All right, so I brought the forensics team in, and this is where we're going through the offices, right? You know, and we first scoured Page's personal office and found a number of incriminating items. We found an antique letter opener with red flecks of dried liquid right on the tip, just the tip. And we had the lead agent, you know, I'm really good with this CSI stuff, you know, I watched it on TV once. They know a lot of things on that show, you know.
You're as qualified as I am.
That's right. So the lead agent conducted a, let's see what's in my deposition here, the Beluga Malachite Green, the LMG. We call it LMG because no one can pronounce malachite. Color test and confirmed that on just that tip was blood. So we bag it because that's what we do with evidence. You know, we bag it, and we sent it to the lab for prints and blood analysis. And we also noticed that the carpet in that office was also discolored. So we had to rip the carpet out of the floor. You know, we had to get our various handymen involved. And we also saw there a large stain under the carpet, looked like blood. Although most of it had been removed from the surface of the carpet, you know, it kind of seeps through. You know, like someone couldn't cover up their tracks. You know. Bleach is a marvelous chemical. But the padding underneath the carpet acted like a sponge, and it was all still soaked. What else we got? We were able to extract approximately 3.5 pints of blood from that carpet. Just, you know, that's a pretty big number based on my years. I've had many years doing this, you know, and I watch CSI. They got that new one with David Caruso, you know? They're in Miami now.
Witness will refrain from talking to the judge about television unless it's Centaur World. Continue.
So 3.5 ounces, or 3.5 pints of blood. Is that a lot?
Yes.
Your Honor, objection. This is a police detective, not a medical professional.
The amount of human blood in our body is common knowledge.
Is it?
How many ounces, or how many...
Your Honor, how many ounces of blood are in the human body?
Mine's mostly alcohol, so I have no idea.
Do you know how much blood is in the human body?
Yes.
Good answer. How much?
About 8 to 10 pints.
Okay, 8 to 10 pints. There was, how much again on the floor?
About half that, 3.5.
Okay. Can the human body survive without that much blood?
Objection, Your Honor. Once again,
Sustained.
this is a police detective, not a medical professional.
Sustained.
In your experience, how much blood have you usually seen on the scene of a murder?
At least this much. Sometimes there's more than one murder, you know. I want the big pieces, that's what I mean. Lots and lots of blood, big case.
Everybody loves lots of blood. That's what we're on here.
Yeah, it's just kind of turned me on a bit. You want some smokes?
Might as well start.
Hey, what's up, folks? Hey, other team over there, have some smokes.
Can you identify what I'm handing you right now?
Your Honor, if he's going to be offered, if counsel's going to be offering the witness an exhibit, we would like to be presented with it.
Sustained. Bailiff?
Could counsel do us a favor and actually identify the marked exhibit?
Exhibit 3.
No objection.
Is that an objection or no objection?
No objection.
Thank you.
Thank God. Can you,
Very relaxed, Judge.
can you identify what's been labeled as Exhibit 3?
That appears to be the, I think that was the old penknife with the blood on the tip.
Objection, Your Honor, to the classification. Witness as previously testified, this is a letter opener, not a penknife.
Sustained.
Yeah,
You want to rephrase that?
yeah, it's the penknife.
Objection, Your Honor. Same
Sustained. Witness.
It's the letter opener?
objection. No objection, Your Honor.
Which is it?
As a former art history student, this is clearly a picture of a letter opener. It's not a letter opener.
I don't know what you're saying, sir.
Philistine. Submitting the evidence, what's been labeled as Exhibit number 3 as Commonwealth Exhibit 1.
Any objections?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Submitting the evidence, what's been labeled as Exhibit 3 as Commonwealth Exhibit number 1.
No objection.
Regarding Exhibit number 1 right here, Commonwealth Exhibit number 1, can you tell me whose fingerprints are on that?
Yes, I can. That is... Hold on, I gotta check what I gave out because I don't want to be no perjurer, you know. There's a lot of words written here, don't there? This appears to be the old possum's DNA that's on that.
Okay, and I asked about fingerprints, but we'll welcome that as well.
Where do you think fingerprints come from?
Permission to treat the witness as hostile.
Oh, yeah.
I might need another cigarette if we're going to do that.
You and me both. Whose fingerprints are on that letter opener?
Oh, that's, I recollected that wrong. I'm a little, dyslexic around. It's Cousin Paige.
Cousin Pagan?
Well, you may refer me with that, but where I'm come from, it's Cousin Paige.
Thank you. Now, I'd like to present Exhibit number 4.
Thank you, Bailiff.
You know they have projectors these days.
Yes, but you have to book them. That's the problem.
I know, our budget's the one that gets all the money. I know you guys don't get it.
Please stop trying to cost the bailiff their job. Also, are you smoking 2 cigarettes?
Of course, why wouldn't you? I'm getting turned on over here. We're talking about all the stuff I love. Didn't you read my deposition?
Bailiff, I'm going to need a roach clip. Thank you, Bailiff. Continue.
Back to reality for a second. Can you identify what I've shown as Exhibit number 4?
That appears to be that we're doing DNA matching on that. That's the grid thing that they do.
The grid thing that they do, yes, okay.
Spectrum analysis and all that.
I'd like to present you to evidence what's been labeled as Exhibit number 4 as Commonwealth Exhibit 2.
Any objections?
I'm assuming the prosecution laid a proper foundation and relevance.
You can assume all you want.
Well, if we're assuming that, I'm just going to go forward anyway.
No objection, Your Honor.
Enter.
Thank you. Can you tell us what this DNA test is supposed to tell?
This DNA test, sure, this is the thing I tried to tell you earlier, but I messed it up. And this is, yeah. Gotta get my lines a little bit crossed, you know. And so this is the DNA taken from opossum's hair sample. And we found that because all those lines match, you see, between the different grid that you got there.
Everyone saw that, right?
Yeah.
It matched both the blood on the letter opener and the blood that was on the carpet pad.
Okay, so
From the hair sample from the
a
opossum.
letter opener with Page's fingerprints on it, her blood, and her blood in the carpet.
Yep.
Interesting. This starts to tell me a story, I think.
Well, I'm no storyteller. I just show you the evidence.
Oh, you're fascinating.
I might need another cigarette.
Wishes, how many cigarettes are you smoking currently? Go, Jim. Counsel.
In the course of your investigation, did you talk to Cousin Page?
Yeah, I believe so.
When you saw Cousin Page, did he have any obvious wounds on him?
No, I don't believe so, no.
And if Cousin Page were to lose 3.5 pints of blood, just all of a sudden, would you notice a change in personality or change in behavior?
Well, they'd be in shock and they'd probably be in the hospital. Unless they couldn't afford it and then they'd just be dead.
A Canadian in the audience would like to say anything? Okay. So it's unlikely then that Page lost that amount of blood himself.
I would expect there to be something else, like a hospital visit, or they'd just be dead, or someone else to say, hey, yeah, I helped save their life and gave them like 4 pints of my own blood, and then I'm dead.
Very enlightening. Now, I lost my words. Okay, so we've identified the knife, or excuse me, letter opener, the amount of blood that's been lost. Now, we've stipulated the fact that there are 1,275 other people that may have had that same type of blood. Is that correct? Counsel, is that correct?
You've got the same stipulations I do, Commonwealth. Not my job to do your job for you.
Well, would you care to ask me a little bit more about that? I don't want to test the judge's knowledge of how objections work, so maybe you should ask me a good question.
All right. Of those 1,275 other people, how many of them were there?
Well, I mean, we know only one of them was there.
No further questions on that subject.
None.
You were provided with a hard drive, is that correct?
Yes, forensics, and we acquired a hard drive, yes.
And what did you find in that hard drive?
Let me look at our data report from that. My extensive notes here. We got the whole cyber team, you know, on this. And
CSI Cyber, great show.
we must have been the only two people that got canceled 2 seasons.
Too soon. 6 seasons in a movie.
Oh yes, so through some of the other interviews that we had, we took the drive because we were looking for some of this stuff, you know, involving Shane McGifferton and the $5 million transfer that went out of Buffalo Lover's account on the night of September 29, 2021. But the recipient's accounts were not on. that coupled with the story and other things that we gathered, that was basically how we established probable cause to gather the other evidence that you have in front of you. And we had the search warrant for the offices, Dr. Roach. We also noticed on the day before this is going through the drive, on September 28th, Page dumped $500,000 US of his own money into a NFT snake account. You know, like snake.
A snake.
A snake, yeah. See, you now, I thought you look, you come from where I come, it's a snake. All right, so on 29 October, we had a whole bunch of patrol officers, some CSI, we executed the search warrant. We weren't able to look for financial fraud, and we basically had to only focus on Opposum's disappearance there. But we found us, not necessarily financial fraud, but that's what we got off the drive.
Okay. So I'd also like to pass around exhibit number 2 here. Exhibit number 2 is a good one, folks. I mean, you can't see it from here, it's great. Okay, would you mind identifying what's been labeled as exhibit number 2?
Your Honor, we're going to object. The witness has not established he has any knowledge of Exhibit 2.
In addition to your experience with criminal forensics, do you have any experience with financial forensics?
Yeah, I'm really interested, and I'm actually taking various courses and trying to move into forensics. I want to be a captain, and these are basically, I love white-collar crime. I read the Market Street Journal every day.
You love white-collar crime.
Wonderful. Your Honor, if counsel...
Sustained.
If counsel is going to ask him to testify as to financial reports and forensic accounting, we would like to voir dire the witness and establish whether or not he has expert credentials.
I have one question regarding this exhibit.
Your Honor, we're objecting to any questions regarding this exhibit. No proper foundation has been laid.
Man, if we're talking about things that haven't been laid in a while.
Sustained.
What are your qualifications in the area of financial crimes?
Well, I mean, it's mostly in crime scene investigation, so I've been really interested in this. I've done auditing of courses, I've taken courses, and the sergeant, they sent me to a ATF training course on crime scene investigation. I took extra leave to study this kind of stuff, even worked as a coroner's aide, and I really put a lot of time into white-collar crimes, and I started, bulking up on the finance stuff, and I read the Market Street Journal every day,
Your Honor, we would ask for an opportunity to cross on voir dire prior to the offering of the witness as an expert.
Granted.
You've audited courses?
Yes.
Do you hold any degrees?
I believe I've just been trained in basic forensics and training in crime scene investigation. I have audited classes in forensic accounting at Pittsburgh Uni.
You audited courses, so you did not earn any degrees in forensic accounting?
Nope.
Have you received any training in forensic accounting outside of auditing the courses?
Nope.
Can you tell me how many white-collar crimes or investigations you have worked on?
I do not know the number. This isn't the first one that I had, but as I said, I get particularly excited and I need a little cigarette.
Now, I get particularly excited about a lot of things, Detective. It doesn't mean I'm qualified to be an expert on them.
Well, I'd take a
Detective, you haven't published any scholarly works, correct?
Nope.
You haven't published any scholarly works on forensic accounting, correct?
Nope.
So, you have no degree in forensic accounting, right?
Nope.
You have no specialized experience in forensic accounting, right?
Nope, not besides my bachelor's in criminal justice.
Does criminal justice typically carry a degree in forensic accounting, Detective?
I watch American Greed, what can I say?
I watch The Muppet Show. It doesn't make me a foam pig.
Nice.
Are you sure?
Detective?
You published no scholarly papers in the field?
No.
Your Honor, we're going to object to this witness testifying as to anything opinion-based on anything financial or forensic accounting.
Sustained.
No further questions.
Your witness?
Where was the letter opener found?
Letter opener.
If the evidence was listed in the pen name. Under the pen name. As opposed to pen name.
Trying to remember here. I think it was in the office, if I'm not mistaken.
It was found in Cousin Page's office, wasn't it, Detective?
It was in Page's personal office.
Okay. So you found Cousin Page's letter opener in Cousin Page's office with Cousin Page's fingerprints on it, and you thought that was suspicious?
That was not the only thing that had the suspicious note to it.
Well, let me ask, was the other thing that had you suspicious, looking at Exhibit C1 here, the fact that an unidentified set of fingerprints was also found on the letter opener that did not trace back to Cousin Page?
Well, those fingerprints weren't necessarily, as you say, unidentified.
Well, look at the report.
I know what the report says.
What does it say, Detective? It says print smudged, unidentifiable, unnamed, unknown party, correct?
I need to see it again, but I believe that is what it says.
Now, then take a look at it. The counsel's got it right over there. This is a murder trial. I don't want you to guess, Detective.
Yep.
Give that man smoke.
And you gave a sworn statement on April 28th, 2022, correct?
Sure.
And in that sworn statement regarding those unidentified fingerprints, you stated that the lab tech, the same lab tech that identified Cousin Page's fingerprints on his letter opener from his office, stated that they believed the unidentified prints were most likely not Page's, correct?
That is what is in the deposition, yes.
So that is what the lab tech told you, correct?
That is what the lab tech said.
Okay. And that is what you testified to under oath, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You admitted that statement when you were reviewing this exhibit, right?
Yep.
Okay. You said that Ophilo Possum was the only person with the blood match at the office, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Did you all blood test every employee of Dr. Roach Investments?
No, I don't think we did so, no.
And you didn't blood test Cousin Page, correct?
We didn't need to.
You didn't need to blood test the suspect for blood found in their office.
Hang on, I'm getting my lines crossed here a little bit.
Well, Detective, I don't want you to rehearse what you're going to tell me. I just want the truth. You didn't test Cousin Page, did you?
Not to my recollection, no.
You didn't test the cleaning crew, did you?
Nope.
You didn't test the handyman, did you?
Nope.
The only test you ran with 1,275 other people whose blood that could have been a match for was the alleged victim?
We did not, but in some cases we really wouldn't have needed to.
You had, what cases?
We had other evidence, just, you know.
You didn't have a body, did you, Detective?
No.
So you don't have a body, you find blood, and you decide it must be a missing person has been murdered.
There's a lot of circumstantial things that happen here.
Like what, Detective?
Well, we have all kinds of security cam footage. We have,
Let's talk about the security cam footage. Detective, In your sworn statement, you testified that you reviewed security cam footage, correct?
Yes.
You also stated that you spoke to someone other than Miss Opossum's roommate, correct?
Yes.
Who was that person, Detective?
Several.
I'll help out. Wasn't that the widow of Dr. Falco Lover?
Oh, the widow. What line is that on, good sir?
You're referring to line...
Oh, is it shade?
Like around 120.
No.
Oh, okay.
Line 120 to 139.
Well, that's hysterical.
All right, we're on 120, I got you.
120 to 139.
Yeah, I got you. I was on the thing. I thought we were on something else.
Yeah, say the widow of Dr. Falco Lover.
Jane Falco Lover, yeah.
Yeah, because isn't it true that Dr. Falco Lover, upon finding that $5 million that got missing from his account, committed suicide?
That is correct.
On the same day Ophelia Opossum went missing?
I believe so, yes. This is all in a day or two.
Right. And it's true that the security camera footage here, which I will go ahead and show you, we're going to mark it as Defense 1. For Defense Counsel, that would be Exhibit 7. Pre-marked Exhibit 7.
Thank you, Bailiff.
Take a look at those pictures. Are those the same security camera footage that you pulled from the building of Dr. Roach Investments?
Yes, it is.
Is it dated October 27th?
I don't read it that way, but you know. If
You don't read it that way?
That's what you do it.
You don't read it that way. You don't read that it's dated for the same day.
No, I would read it as 27.10.2021, but you here write it then 10.27.2021.
So you would agree it says 10.27.2021?
Yes, that is what it reads.
And would you agree that that could be in the United States, where we are located, the date abbreviation for October 27th, 2021, correct?
Yeah, I watch a lot of CSI, you know, and there's the defaults on the cameras, and you buy them in America, that's what they're going to do. They're going to do that dating.
And that is footage of Miss Falco Lover entering the building housing Dr. Roach Investments on October 27th, 2021, correct?
Yes, it is.
The same day Miss Opossum went missing from that building?
Repeat that, sorry.
The same day Miss Opossum went missing from that building?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. And from your speaking to Miss Falco Lover, by that point, Miss Falco Lover had, on that same day, shortly before this was taken, discovered that her husband had committed suicide due to the loss of the $5 million, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Now, your investigation, did it reveal at any point that Ophelia Opossum had been fingered as a person involved with the Falco Lover account to Miss Falco Lover?
Objection. We are not asking if anybody has been fingered. Relevance. Withdraw.
I like that.
I know you do.
Oh. Oh.
Counsel.
Give me one moment. I have
Have you tried line 120 to 139?
So, there was somebody else in the building on the night that Miss Opossum went missing.
Yes.
Did you follow up on that at all? Outside of speaking to her one time?
We only spoke to her once.
So, just to be clear, you don't have a body. right?
Well, we have a good suspicion of where the body ended up.
Where?
The Atlantic Ocean.
To be clear, it is your opinion. Reminding you that it was stipulated to by the Commonwealth that Cousin Page was back in the office at 5:09 a.m. the next morning. It is your position that the defendant murdered someone in his office at night, took them downstairs without exiting the building to the front door, transported the body from Pittsburgh to the Atlantic Ocean, disposed of the body, and then drove back to Pittsburgh.
That is not what I'm saying, sir.
Pray tell, detective.
Well, you just go outside, you throw them in the river, and then, this isn't some, show you see on TV, Law and Order, where we just work one case. It takes a few weeks to sort these things out. You throw them in the Allegheny, and it works the waterways, and it ends up where it goes in the ocean.
Detective, were any bodies located in the Allegheny River on or around October 27th?
Not that we know of, no.
Okay. Detective, where does the Allegheny River drain?
I was merely giving a suggestion. You can pick any river you want.
Detective, where does every river in Pittsburgh drain?
I don't know, Saskatchewan or something.
We would ask the court to take judicial notice of the fact that every river that flows through Pittsburgh drains in the Gulf of Mexico.
Which is a part of what?
The Gulf of Mexico!
I'm sorry, I heard Atlantic Ocean.
Detective, what do you think the odds are a body floated from Pittsburgh to New Orleans and into the Gulf of Mexico without anybody discovering it?
Hurricane.
Well, I think that's neither here nor there, sir. I was just giving
Detective, considering that you just testified that you believe the body was dumped in a body of water that would have to drain into the Atlantic Ocean at some point in time, and that's why there is no body, I would think that's rather relevant.
Sir, all I'm saying is it would be very difficult to find something that was disposed of in any large body of water.
How was it disposed of?
Well, you put it in, some type of sack or something. You lost a lot of blood, so it weighs a lot less.
Let's talk about that. Some type of sack or something. Now, you actually spoke to Mr. Possum's roommate, Miss McGifferton. McGifferton told you that she actually did see somebody exit the building from the back that evening, correct?
Yes, I believe so.
Yep. She did not testify that person was carrying a sack?
Well, they just appeared very frazzled. They looked very troubled. And it was also very dark and hard to see. It was raining.
You don't think somebody would notice, if they're noticing that someone looked frazzled, would notice a human-sized sack?
Well, they described that they were kind of walking in a funny pattern, too, like when you wouldn't just be leaving the building at the end of the day or something.
What do you mean by that?
I mean by that, let's see. According to my deposition, I'm just going to read from this. After a while, Mr. McGifferton drove near the back of the service entrance and from about 100 feet away.
Your Honor, we are going to object at that point to the extent that he's going to testify as to anything Ms. McGifferton said. Ms. McGifferton took the stand at his hearsay.
Foxy decides it's fact.
Sustained. I think that's how that works. They earned this.
it is true that Cousin Poggy informed you that at the time Miss Opossum returned to the office that evening, he was actually at the Volpine and Oregano concert?
Yes.
Nothing further.
Council Cross?
Just a few quick things. Regarding Commonwealth Exhibit 1, the letter opener, there were unidentified fingerprints on that. Can you tell us where on the letter opener those were?
That'd be on the towards the blade side, not the handle.
So if you were stabbing somebody, would you use the blade side?
You'd be awful desperate. No, I wouldn't think so. It's pretty close to the tip. Almost as if like somebody would be trying to stop you. I don't know.
Thank you. Yeah, no further questions. Wait. Yeah, no further questions.
We moved D1 into evidence.
Believe that's witness.
Witness, witness.
Witness is dismissed. Guys, give it up for Iggy. Thanks for the smokes. Commonwealth?
Commonwealth rests.
I chipped my tooth. Candy cigarette. I think I even cracked another one. I'm feeling it right now.
Oh,
Anyways, we move for a directed verdict, Your Honor.
thank you. One more time.
We're moving for a directed verdict. The Commonwealth never identified my client as a defendant or the arrested party or the indicted party in any way. Further, they have not established any death occurred to anything whatsoever. They have not even placed my client in the office at the time they alleged they were there. The Commonwealth cannot meet their burden beyond a reasonable doubt and further cannot establish the death. We would move for a directed verdict.
You know we got like another hour to fill, right?
Not my fault you suck at your job.
I'm a district attorney. I suck a lot of things.
Commonwealth?
Commonwealth says, oh shit.
It is at this time that I do say that the defense has. Yeah, we don't have a jury.
Now, for the hell of it, I'll go ahead and act like that didn't happen. And we will call, you know what? Let's go ahead and call Sandy Sparkle Dog.
I do have one question before we move on now. Is the jury hung?
Yeah. What?
Is the jury hung?
Hand of the donuts?
She's trying to kill me. I'm
I'll take the case.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Then you may be seated, and I'll refrain from offering you one and killing you.
Thank you. Then we'd have to have another trial. Counsel?
State your name, please.
Sandy Sparkle Dog.
Miss Sparkle Dog, where do you work?
Well, currently I'm unemployed. I did work for Dr. Roach Investments.
Are you familiar with Ophelia Opossum, the alleged victim?
Yes, unfortunately.
How?
Well, we went to school together, and then later we both worked at Dr. Roach.
I mean, is that Dr. Roach? What was your job?
So I was hired as, I guess, an analyst, but then I was told to develop a software.
Are you familiar with the Dr. Donald Falco lover?
I believe that we handled one of his accounts.
When you say we, were you the only person ever handling that account?
Maybe.
Let me ask, did anybody else at Dr. Roach Investments work with you on the Falco lover account initially?
It's a yes or no question.
Well, I may have been drunk when I gave my statement.
Objection here.
I'm just going to say no.
Are you certain?
No. Shut up, you love me.
I do love you.
Objection, Your Honor. If one thing in this room has got to be straight, it's her story.
Report of fools.
I think we're all fucked.
I mean, you already fucked with your report.
Now, you oversaw the Falco lover account as you just testified.
I was busy snorting into the mic. Can you say that again?
You oversaw the Falco lover account as you testified.
Yes.
What happened on October 27th with that account, if anything?
That was when the doctor came in to review his account and found out that $5 million was missing.
And was there anybody in that room with the Falco lovers?
Yes.
Who?
Cousin Page and Ophel.
Were you also there?
Yes.
How did Cousin Page react when he told the Falco lovers that their account had been emptied of $5 million?
Not well.
You say not well, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, he pretty much put the entire blame on Ophel.
In front of the Falco lovers?
Unless I'm reading this wrong.
No, man, I'm asking. He did that in front of the Falco lovers?
Yes.
Was Mrs. Falco lover present?
According to line 171, yes.
After the Falco lovers left that day, what did you do? Let me rephrase the question for you.
Destroying evidence.
That evening, do you know where Cousin Page was?
Oh yeah, we were at a concert.
You say we, you were with him?
Yes.
And what time did that concert start?
This just says at 6:30 everyone left.
Okay, so sometime between 6:30 and when you got to the concert, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Nothing further.
Counsel? Sorry, Commonwealth?
Miss Sparkledog.
Yes. You can call me Sammy.
Miss Sparkledog. Would you say that you're qualified to work with algorithms? What is an
Correction, Your
algorithm?
Honor, that's outside the scope of the record.
What's Nifty Snake?
Your Honor, that's outside the scope of the record. We didn't ask anything about Nifty Snake.
Sustained. I remember
What
that
time
one.
did the concert end? You don't know, do you?
No, because
You don't even
alcohol
know which
poisoning.
line it is.
Ish. Kind of. Canceled partway through due to alcohol poisoning.
Canceled partway through due to alcohol poisoning. And the concert didn't go back on.
No.
So there is a time during the evening in which you and Uncle Pog, Cousin Page,
I mean, if you can't keep it straight, how am I supposed to?
I went to Catholic school, ain't nothing working to keep this straight.
In the South.
So there was a time during the evening where you and Uncle Page were not together.
I assume so. We don't live together.
Very interesting. Nothing further.
Counsel?
At the time in the evening when you and Cousin Page weren't together, was it late or early?
I guess late.
You guess? This is a murder trial.
I'm sorry. You said nothing further. Shut your damn mouth. This is my witness. Nothing further?
I know y'all really didn't make me read 4 pages of this shit just to ask me that.
The question goes where the case needs it to go.
Commonwealth?
Nothing I want to ask was covered in direct, so.
You have to go back to a room with me tonight.
In shame, yes.
You're dismissed.
The witness is dismissed. Let's hear it for Keith. I remember reading that. I was so happy.
I know!
I know!
I have good testimony, too.
Your Honor, at this point, we'd call Cousin Page.
Bring out the donuts.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Hey, Paige, lay some of that truth on me.
I think we could all use a little truth.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
The chocolate bar plain. I swear on the
Hey,
strawberry
counsel, witness's blood sugar is dropping. Can I actually have a death donut?
How is that donut?
It's quite lovely, thank you.
State your name, please.
Cousin Page.
And Cousin Page, what do you do for a living?
I am the chairman, I'm the chief of Dr. Roach LLC, an investment firm.
Are you familiar with Ophelia Possum?
Yes,
How are you familiar with Ophelia Possum?
she was employed by Dr. Roach LLC.
You say was employed by Dr. Roach LLC. Could you state how she became employed?
I could if you would pass me my statement. I'm having a bit of a memory fog. You see, I haven't had enough wine.
Could the witnesses refrain from getting drunk before taking the stand? Just once.
I'm sorry, that's not going to happen, my boy.
Fair enough.
I don't think you have a show otherwise.
Objection, drink more.
Yes.
Billy gets the testimony flowing.
Ophelia had been published in Dorbs and had a talent for finding new investment venues, and
some of the comments from the
they came to my employee because of University of Pittsburgh's up-and-coming business school. They were a student.
Was Ophelia working for you in August of 2021?
Yes.
May I direct the witness to use the microphone?
You may not.
But I will.
Thank you.
I forgot it was there.
It's okay.
In August of 2021, did anything happen with Ophelia's employment?
Yes.
What was that?
There was a downturn in the market in August of that year, and there were going to be layoffs, and it was highly likely that Ophelia was going to be one of the layoffs, and came to me attempting to convince me to sponsor her immigration, her work visa.
What was your response to that?
That I could not do so. The firm was not in a position to do so, and I'm sorry, I know I shouldn't answer questions I haven't been asked. I apologize. Could you repeat the question?
What was your response to her requesting that you sponsor her work visa?
I declined to do so.
How did she take that?
Not well.
I'm going to show the witness what was pre-marked as Exhibit 10 and what we are marking as Exhibit D2. I'm going to ask the bailiff to show that to the witness. You recognize that document?
Yes.
What is it?
It is an email to me from Ophelia Possum.
And what's the date on that?
August 18th, 2021.
And the email address, who is it from?
opossumlove@gmail.com.
Whose email address is that, to your knowledge?
That is, to my knowledge, Ophelia Possum's email.
Who is it to?
To cousinpage@drroach.com.
Whose email address is that?
That is mine.
Is that a true and correct copy of the email you received from Ophelia Possum on August 18th, 2021?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this point, you move to admit.
No objections.
Submitted.
Cousin Page, please do me a favor. Looking at this document, is August 18th, 2021 around the date that you had the disagreement regarding the work visa with Ms. Opossum?
Yes.
What is the subject on that email?
Further to discussion.
And would you please read the email?
Dear Most Honorable Page, please, if you will continue to patronize me, you will be very upset. I demand your respect. Consider my petition wisely, lagomorph. I hate you. Best regards, Ophiel.
Thank you. Are you familiar with the Dr. Falco lover?
Yes.
How are you familiar with Dr. Falco lover?
He and I had a friendly relationship. He worked in an office in the same building as Dr. Roach, and he became an investor in.
Did you personally manage Dr. Falco lover's account?
I did not know.
Who managed Dr. Falco lover's account at the beginning?
In the beginning, it was. It was Ophiel and Sammy Sparklebaum.
Ophiel did manage the account at the beginning?
Yes.
When was Ophiel removed from the account?
I don't recall.
Do you recall why Miss Opossum was removed from the account?
If you don't stop that, young man, I'm going to take that lanyard off and feed it to you.
Cousin Poggy, I'm going to withdraw the question. Let's go to October 27th. What time did you leave the office on that day?
Approximately 6:15 p.m.
And where did you go?
I went to attend the Vulpine and Oregano concert.
What time did you leave that concert?
Around 9:15 p.m.
Where'd you go after you left the concert?
I took the subway home.
Did you go back to Dr. Roach Investments at any point after 6:15 p.m. on October 27th?
I did not.
Nothing further.
But the concert was tasty. Vulpine and oregano?
Very spicy, yes. It was after dark.
Mamma mia, that's a spicy meatball.
I have one question, really, that I feel has been burning on all of our minds, and I'd like to get answered right now. Who the fuck's cousin are you, anyway?
Cousin Ed.
You don't even know.
Very interesting parents.
I don't have to justify my name. What makes you such a good boy?
Oh. Shots fired.
Breeding.
Let's
stick to the questions that you do know. August 2021. How is the market doing?
Objection, outside the scope.
That was not outside of the scope. You did bring it up.
No, I brought up nothing about the market.
It's almost like you do this every day or something.
Sustained, yeah.
I won't lose his business card.
panel is a good advertisement for excellent legal service.
I'd like to point out that I'm in fact a research attorney, not a litigator. So.
I'd also like to point out you're a very good boy.
It's kind of like having a boxing match with an infant.
Council will refrain from calling the Commonwealth an infant. That's not what this panel is for. That one happens at 11.
What was Falco Lover doing at your office?
He had come to, well, he was upset about the nature of the problem with his accounts.
Now, the problem with his accounts, again, that was the disappearance of $5 million?
Yes.
5 million real American dollars, not Canadian for $10?
All money is fake, but yes.
Okay. Now, did Nifty Snake perform better or worse than the market?
Your Honor, objection once again outside the scope.
Sustained.
Remember, you wouldn't let me talk about it.
Yep.
Come at me, good boy.
I'm not anywhere close, but I'm sure everyone's breath is fine.
Who had access to the account at the time of the $5 million disappearing?
To my knowledge, that should have been Sammy Sparkledog.
And?
Well, myself as the head of the firm.
Okay, so you admit that you had access to these funds. Now, I'd like to take a look at a piece of evidence here. What's been labeled as Exhibit 12, which we're going to refer to as Commonwealth 3.
Thank you, Bailiff.
Yeah, that. Good. Could you identify this for me?
Yes. If I can hold on to my own paper. It is a statement of account transfer from Dr. Roach Electronic Investments.
Okay, move to admit this is evidence.
No objection.
Go on.
I said I had no objection.
Oh, no objection. Oh. Have it. Excuse me.
Guilty conscience.
All the time. Okay, can you tell me what exactly this is?
This is a confirmation page for an account transfer into our, from, to read this, I'm an executive.
Your secretary to do it.
Oh yes, it is a credit to an account, into an account in our system.
And what's the date on that credit?
September 28th, 2021.
And was this before or after the funds disappeared? I'm genuinely asking.
You're asking me?
Let me rephrase that. Tell me again the date that was on there.
September 28th, 2021.
Okay, in your deposition, you said between October 1st and October 12th, you didn't have enough surplus capital to cover all of your clients. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, and if the investors learned of your lack of capital, what was likely to happen?
They would immediately involve the federal, whichever federal agency oversees me, and bad things happen when they call in the feds.
Bad things? Oh, yes. And here I thought when you called in the federal government, good things happened.
One can only hope.
So these were some of the funds that disappeared, correct? Where did this money come from?
Objection, Your Honor, to the characterization of the funds. The witness just testified it was a transfer into the NFT snake account on September 28th, well before any funds were testified as to having disappeared.
Mistake. Do you know what a Ponzi scheme is?
Objection, Your Honor, well outside of the scope.
It's similar to a Ponzi scheme.
Do you know what happens to liars?
Sustain!
Objection, Your Honor, move to strike.
Sustain! Fuck! It's sad now. They got chocolate all over the table.
That's what happens when you hammer a donut that hard. Oh, excuse me. Is the speed on fire?
Yes.
Oh no, you're not getting away with this. You're here forever. Do go off, my boy.
Now, it's true that you've waived your Fifth Amendment rights. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you do it? Exactly what you would say. No further questions. I think you just made my case for me.
Counsel?
I want to crack my tooth again. Just to be clear, there's a comment. Exhibit C3, that is well before any funds went missing, isn't it?
Yes.
And it's a transfer from your personal account?
That is correct, yes.
To where?
To the Dr. Roach NFT snake account.
Is it a crime for you to invest your own money?
Well, you're the lawyer. No, it isn't.
And as to you having access to Dr. Falco Lover's account, you own the company, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
You have access to everybody's account, don't you?
Yes.
Nothing further.
Commonwealth?
You have access to everybody's accounts?
Yes.
And you did say that as of October, you have no funds left and we're not able to cover any of your investors, correct?
Did I say
It's a yes or
I'm
no question.
actually going to object, Your Honor, because that is not what he said. And if counsel would refer to the sworn statement that he's obviously reading off of, because I gave him wide latitude in letting him ask that question outside the scope, what Cousin Page in that sworn statement actually said was due to the funds being tied up in other investments, there was not liquidity, so he fronted money to make a payment of dividends to the company. Not that there were no funds.
Do you know what the federal requirements are for capitalizing your loan, or actually for capitalizing your investment?
Do you?
I'm not on trial here.
I mean, if you're going this far out of the scope, you may want to be. The disciplinary board's a thing, counsel.
Do you want me to admit that I did it? I mean,
Trial and law.
Guilty!
I'm going to ask the court direct witness to pull firmly on counsel's face to make sure he's not really old man Jenkins.
Ah!
And I would have gotten away with it too. If it weren't for you meddling kids and your stupid dog.
What's the matter?
Commonwealth?
I think I'm the stupid dog.
Nothing further from Commonwealth?
Defense rests, Your Honor.
Defense rests. Oh, I got the order wrong. Dismissing the witness. Guys, give Sparv a huge round of applause.
7 and 8, and we'll give the jury instructions.
All right, read 7 and 8 after.
7 and 8.
Okay. Commonwealth, your closing statement.
Guys, I fucked up. I had a statement prepared, but it was much more dependent on me having established a lot of the facts that I needed to have established to win my case. And
I had a statement ready, but I didn't prove any of the things I need to prove. Jury, please fight for me. I'm sorry, go ahead.
you're telling me you haven't heard this before from the DA?
Not so bluntly.
He's thrown himself at the mercy of the court.
Y'all, we're not here today to figure out which attorney is good, which attorney is bad. We're here to figure out if Uncle Page, it's Cousin Page.
It could be somebody's uncle. It could be Uncle Cousin Page. Sorry.
Okay.
He already said he didn't do it. But do you believe him? I gotta ask you that. Do you believe him? Do you trust him?
Yeah.
Ah, shucks. Commonwealth rests.
Counsel.
Well, I had prepared a closing statement about the burdens of proof and how they were never going to be able to make those burdens of proof. But after the trial today,
What's a trial? This is hard.
I really just am not sure whether or not that's appropriate. So instead, I'm going to begin reading Moby Dick.
Counsel will refrain from reading classic novels. In my courtroom, I'm more of a cartoon guy.
Call me Ishmael. Some years ago, never mind how. Members of our opposing counsel, Your Honor, members of our jury, it's just very simple. The Commonwealth had to establish two things to you. Number one, they had to establish by preponderance of the evidence that Ophel Opossum is dead. They had to establish this because there was no body. Preponderance of the evidence is just a fancy legal way of saying it's more likely than it's not that this person is dead. And ask yourself, have they done that? All they have established is Ophel Opossum, having been removed from an account, denied a work visa, disappeared on the same day that an account she had access to, having illegally installed spyware on financial computers, was drained of $5 million. They've established nothing more than that. All they've established is that blood that may or may not have been hers was found in my client's office, and that his fingerprints were on a letter opener in that office that had a fleck of blood on it. Have they established beyond a reasonable doubt that she is dead and that he is the killer? No. A reasonable doubt is not an absence of any chance. It is, simply put, when all the evidence is viewed together, the only reasonable explanation is that the defendant has done it, and we demand that high and exacting standard because what the Commonwealth is seeking to do is not minor. It is seeking to deprive Cousin Page of his freedom and place him in jail to serve for a crime. And you must ask yourself, have they met that standard based on a detective who fancies himself a CSI Miami character? A wannabe psychologist.
I am not a wannabe. I'm a fox?
Wait, did you say a wallaby?
And supposition derived from an investigation that didn't even bother to thoroughly question the widow of a doctor who committed suicide, having been made aware that the very person that they allege was murdered may have been responsible for the draining of the life savings of that party. The answer is no. They have not met that standard because they cannot meet that standard. They cannot show Ophelia Possum is dead. And even if they could, they cannot show Cousin Page is responsible in any way for that death. I told you at the beginning, there are no guilty people in this courtroom today.
Until my civil case goes through.
I say again now, and believe that you know as well as I do, there remain no guilty people in this courtroom today. I ask you to deliberate and to make the determination that justice demands and acquit my client of the spurious charges leveled against them. Thank you.
Before going into deliberation, there's a few things we need to know. Definitions. Number one, third-degree murder defined. Third-degree murder is the killing with malice that is not forced or second-degree murder. To find the defendant guilty of this offense, you must find the following elements have been proven beyond a reasonable doubt. First, that Ophelia Possum is dead. Second, the defendant killed her. And third, that the defendant did so with malice. The word malice, as I am using it, has the meaning described above. That is, malice exists if the perpetrator's actions show his or her wanton and willful disregard of an unjustified and extremely high risk that his or her conduct would result in death or serious bodily injury to another. Secondly, the special burden of proof where a victim's body has not been discovered. This is defined as the prosecution has the burden of providing murder beyond a reasonable doubt. However, in cases like this one, where the Commonwealth tries someone for murder, but the alleged victim's body has not been found, the Commonwealth must establish a reasonable probability that the victim has died. Reasonable probability is akin to the civil burden of proof of standard of word I can't read of evidence. Per preponderance. What?
Preponderance.
Preponderance? There's too many P's. Evidence. Think about an ordinary balance scale with a pen on each side to hold objects. Imagine using this scale as you deliberate in the jury room. Place all the evidence favorable to the Commonwealth in one pan. Place all the evidence favorable to the defendant in another. If the scales tip even slightly to the Commonwealth side, then the Commonwealth has met its burden of showing that Ophelia Possum is dead. If, however, the scales tip even slightly on the defendant's side, or if the two sides of the scale balance, then you must find for the defendant and you must render a verdict of not guilty. In short, after considering all the evidence, you find that it is more likely true than not that Ophelia Possum is dead. The Commonwealth has met its burden in this respect only. The Commonwealth must still demonstrate all other elements of the crime of murder in the third degree, as I have defined it for you, beyond a reasonable doubt.
Got all that?
How to vote? It's Chicago? All right, if you're dead, you can vote for mayors. Yeah, that's how it works. Are we doing a straw poll?
The way that we do this is how all great American legal battles and justice system determinations.
Oh, that part of Chicago.
Money.
There you go.
Charity donations on this table are votes to acquit, on that table are votes to convict, and if you give them to the judge, he does a little dance. I will say deliberations are open now.
In other words, go ahead and make your vote. Charity donations to either table, and that will determine our winner. Thank you all so much for participating as we are taking the donations. Thank you. Hold on. I'm doing a striptease because this is as tight as a goddamn girdle. Oh my God, I'm stuck. Got it. Yes. My doily is off. Not kidding. I genuinely, this thing is so tight on me, I thought the joke was going to be I was going to sit down and would totally burst open.
He complimented my art.
I'm sorry?
He complimented my art earlier.
Oh. Okay, it's stuck. Help your honor! Help your honor! I'm your honor! It's kind of like that. Oh God, that's my nibble!
I think I got more inside.
My nibble! I'm dancing for your amusement! Nice. Excellent!
Get the scalpel. I think we're going to need to cut it off.
Wait, the Commonwealth has money on his page.
Hang on, I'll dance for minutes. Yes, my friend. Yes.
Hey, look, Bookie, start hanging the soul. I don't know why.
Oh, you've stopped. That's a problem. Here, have some more.
No, that's a good question on it. I need to tell you. The problem is with the mock trials, you have to tell anybody the same thing, and that is it counts as a screen inside the facts. Whenever the facts are on the paper, the facts always.
We had to sit for how pretty removed that entertaining that full. Yeah. That was 5 days. I was like, that's fascinating. Oh, cool. I can see the comedy. It's way more to it.
We're trying to do this one way. Actually getting an idea.
Oh, yeah. Sure. It'll be funny if you wore an actual paper costume.
I got it.
Literal James Gordon.
It hurts so much.
Fantastic, guys.
Hey, we appreciate everything.
Oh, yeah.
I just walked into a writing panel, looked Ursula Vernon, a close friend of Kage's, in the face, while dressed as Kage, ripped that off the table, and walked out of the room without speaking. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Are you going to sit in the chair?
I'm going to go ahead and take the chair. I'm just counting.
Hey, can I ask for a quick favor? I just want to get a quick video of you guys. Would you mind shouting on the count of 3, "Hi, Buddy's mom"? Thank you. That's going to make explaining this weekend very good fun.
All right.
What did you do this weekend?
Prosecutor, are you ready?
Prosecution's total?
Commonwealth, are you ready?
Ready.
Commonwealth, we're going to start with you. Oh, we're going to start with you.
No, I
Each
think
lady
you
each
should count them
time.
out individually for the Commonwealth.
Okay, for the Commonwealth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 25, 50, 60, $7.60.
$261.
With the judge's total of $136, the case finds for the defense, the victim. I was about to call you the victim. I'm doing great.
He is a victim of an unjust system.
I'm assuming.
You are free to go and run conventions. Enjoy your wine. Not guilty. Give it up for Buddy. Good boy. Give it up for Sparks. Early you saw Chris the Cappy Buddy. Iggy. Diva. Give them a round of applause. Our unbelievable bailiff and a person that this panel cannot happen without. A huge round of applause for QM. The only, I've got to see him work in the real world, and I'll tell you, whatever you think he's doing here, he's even more impressive doing it for real. A huge round of applause for my friend, the Boozy Barrister.
Next year we're back to doing a civil case.
This has been Furry Jury. We hope you enjoyed. Enjoy the convention, and good night. For the next few minutes, as an unreasonable facsimile of our delightful chairman. You got it. The hunt is on. You had better run. If you didn't have cash, by the way, and want to donate to the charity, I have a QR code you can scan. And it will take you to a link to donate.
Silver Gattoman, he bought me a coffee. Silver Gattoman, here is the song for thee. He likes to video all the panels at the cons. You should go and watch them whether they are short or long. Silver Gattoman, you video that's not a jibe. All of you go to his YouTube channel and like and subscribe.